Welcome to Randy Behind the Cheesecake. Where I will be taking a look at how I made Randy Red Roxy Rebellion and sharing that with all of you because it's an extremely rewarding experience, and so we're going to take a look at it. This is part 1, Birth. Now the title of this part may sound like the start to a sex ed video, and maybe this will be one of those videos, I don't know. I don't know how this will go while I keep writing it, so be ready. But I intend for this part to be about how Randy the Red Roxy Rebellion came to be. Now Randy was first seen in XT4's Adventure, a really crappy series I made in 2014. He literally was only created because I thought I needed a new funny character to make a solo movie out of, and I looked at a Roxy and I thought, hey, they look kind of funny, I guess. And as red is my favorite color, I chose the Red Roxy from there. I just called him Randy. Get it? Okay, cool. Now, after the first Randy movie was finished, I really didn't think I was going to make a sequel. In fact, I was originally going to make a series for him, but I don't know, my heart wasn't in it. At some point down the line, though, I decided that a second Randy movie was appropriate to continue my story with. It just made sense. You know, I felt like having a little fun and scripting something more freeing. In early 2016, I set off on creating the ideas for the sequel. Now, I think at the beginning of 2016, most were overwhelmed by the hype surrounding Captain America Civil War. The idea of two sides of the Avengers fighting against each other was literally like the most exciting thing ever. I got carried away and I set off to produce a movie called Randy the Red Roxy on Civil War. At some point, though, you know, I slapped myself back into reality, and I was like, well, I completely scrapped it. You know, I deemed it unnecessary to create something so unoriginal. It didn't need to happen either. Enough people were making their own Civil War inspirations, there would be no need for the next Randy movie to be about that, considering that it would take a while to make, and by the time it came out, the hype would be kind of like died off, so, you know. So anyway, I tweaked the story, putting Detrax in the lead again. Project Matunga took over. That was the second prototype name I had for the movie. It would have focused on Detrax's plan to end the illogical timeline. However, eventually this was also scrapped due to Chapter Omega being the prime finisher of my universe, and my desire to make someone else the lead villain for once also trumped over Detrax's, lead role. During all of these brainstorms, though, I came up with things that I wanted to have happen. I wanted Randy to go on a free adventure with his friends, I wanted to introduce new characters and cultures to my universe, and I wanted to make something more meaningful than my other work. I wanted to give people something that, could potentially make them feel happy. I thought about possible main villains for the film. It hit me one day that the infamous weapon known as the Doom Box was perfect for this movie, considering I kind of scrapped the idea years ago, and I don't know, it felt kind of like I left that unfinished, and the name the Doom Box just fit Randy so well. It's just kind of like a unofficial name for something, and I thought that just fit Randy really well. Anyway, it's a hard weapon to take seriously with a name like that, and that meant that Core Hunter could finally have some room to shine. I also knew I wanted a lead female antagonist working along with him, and I chose Rudaka for two reasons. The first reason is because I had her set, so it was easy for me to use that set. And two, I wanted to put a classic character in there. I think it's nice when you're an older Bionicle fan and you're watching a video made by me, which is, I'm kind of younger, I never really got into the first generation. I think it's kind of nice to incorporate some classic stuff in there. So anyway, moving on, the little details for the movie came into my mind over time, but it became clear to me what this movie was going to be. It was going to be one big rebellion. Enola and Core Hunter rebel against Detrax and his plans. The Toa rebel against the Hero Factory because they don't like how it's run. And Randy and his friends rebel against the Toa to save the Hero Factory. Thus, the film was given the subtitle Rebellion. Plus, it made a fourth R in the title name. It just flowed, But the original ideas I had still showed through in some form, actually. The idea of a civil war came through. The Toa wanted something different than the heroes, so they fought about it. In the end, we find out that the Toa are just bad guys anyway, but the idea was still there. Now, the Doom Box filled the space for the Project Matunga idea, with it initiating the end instead of being the end. This movie also introduced two new main characters into the William Furno universe, DJ and Jake the Potato Lord. Now, I'd been friends with the biotuber Jake for a little while, and I loved his slapstick humor, so I decided that it was time to start including some other mocks into my stuff, so I chose Jake. And Jake fit perfectly in Randy's world. He would serve as a flagship for the illogical timeline's random and slapstick raunchy nature. As for DJ, he served to be a character who kind of brought a new side of life to the illogical timeline. Partially inspired by the down-in-the-streets heroism from characters like Luke Cage and Daredevil from Marvel's Netflix shows, DJ would be my streets character. He would meet the bigger side of the world and form his own opinion on it by the end of the film. Finally, all of my ideas seemed to fit in place, but there was still a lot of work to do. So I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.